Don't hire more people until you do this one thing. This might be a little bit more sensitive of a subject because almost always when there's a problem in a company, in a team, in an organization, with an operator, with the CEO, founder, whoever it is, the immediate response to a problem is, let's hire more people. Let's throw more bodies at it. Let's bring in these people to solve these particular problems. And this is the absolutely wrong approach. Now I'll show you why in just a moment, but I also think there's some kind of vanity metrics that go around this where it is really cool to have a company of hitting a milestone of 100 people. It is very cool, don't get me wrong. But a lot of times we're kind of trying to chase those vanity metrics, chase those things that aren't truly solving the core underlying problem. And really the big thing that I want to get through to you in this video is that you should not scale a team until you've scaled the way the team works. So don't scale the people, don't scale the individuals, don't hire more people until the way of work is very, very scalable. And the reason you don't want to do this is, number one, because more people just kind of creates more complexity. And I like to think of this as sort of diminishing returns. When you hire more people, there's more meetings, there's more status updates, there's more communication that's needed, there's more tools that are needed, and it creates this kind of level of diminishing returns. I like to think of this as sort of monitors. If you have a really, really small monitor, and let's say I want to be twice as productive, I might get a second monitor, and maybe I'll be twice as productive. Let's say that a second monitor actually makes me twice as productive. Well, great, I've just doubled my productivity. So the kind of surface level logical thing to do might be to get a third monitor and triple my productivity, and then maybe a fourth, and then maybe 10, and maybe 20. But you can see that the scale of the amount of monitors, you won't be twice as productive every time you get a new monitor. And that's because there's diminishing returns with the things that you're actually putting in people that you're hiring, the things that you're doing. And anytime you hire a new person, that does create those diminishing returns. You have to have, at some point, a manager to manage all of these people. You have to create departments, you have to have leadership. And when you have 100 people, it's not like you literally 100x the output. Most likely 100 people, from 10 is tripling the output, something like that, doubling or tripling the output. Because you have to have leadership, you have to have way more status meetings. It's much more difficult to communicate what you actually want done than it is to just like one particular person that might be on your team. And if you're going from a team of 1 to a team of 2, maybe that really will double your productivity. But going from a team of 1 to a team of 50 probably isn't 50xing your productivity. It's more like, again, going to be like a 2 to 3x, maybe 4 or 5x if you're doing really, really well and you nail the underlying model. The instant kind of reaction for a lot of us is, oh, there's a problem. There's a thing we need to fix. There's something that's happening here. The team doesn't have enough capacity. And our first reaction is just hire more people, throw more bodies at it. That is always the wrong thing to do. And another reason for this is because a new hire doesn't immediately give you more capacity. And I think it's kind of a fallacy to believe it does. And I think a lot of people do still think this way. But let's imagine that you're servicing clients and you just don't have any more time. You want to bring in another couple of people, or let's say one person, to come in and help service those clients with you. Now, overnight, your productivity isn't going to double. Realistically, it'll probably take months. And the reason for that is when you bring someone in that is new, you have to run down all the clients that you have, run down what you do, how you work, everything about what you do and all the processes that you have to teach that new person. And that requires time. So that new person is probably not going to do everything overnight. And at the same time, you're taking your own time to help get that person up to speed. And that creates less capacity in the short term. So anytime you hire someone, anytime you bring in someone new, immediately think in a essentially downward trend of productivity, because over the long term, it may go up if you have the right hire and the right person and it ends up working well and they don't leave and a lot of the other variables. But the immediate assumption is that, oh, cool, like there's a problem, let's hire a person. Let's just get someone in there, get a body in there, we'll be good to go. But usually in the short term, that creates less productivity, less output, and solves less problems. Creates more problems, more headache, more issues. And in the long term, that does kind of grow and go up. But in the short term, if you're running into like a brick wall problem and you're like, okay, we have no more capacity to do this, our immediate reaction is let's just hire people. That may not be the right approach, especially if you need something overnight or like very, very short term. Hiring a person is going to be the absolute wrong move in that scenario. And a way to kind of rebuttal this is you need to create really clear underlying processes, systems, and ways of work. That way, when someone new does come in, they're not necessarily relying on the entire company, on you, on the team, on what needs to get done, what needs work, how to do things. If you have most of the things that you do on a regular basis documented very, very well, you have a very clear system of work, it's gonna be a lot easier to onboard someone new. And that again is why we need to create those underlying systems, ways of work, processes that allow us to hire more people and actually get those people to be productive a lot quicker than it would, if you're trying to verbally communicate and teach someone from the ground up what you actually do. And the last big thing is that you want to make sure you nail the model before you scale the model. And the way I like to think about this is sort of restaurants or physical locations or whatever you want, brick and mortar businesses. Let's say you have one business, one brick and mortar location. Before you go out and set up a second location, you're gonna wanna absolutely nail the model of the first one. Because if you don't nail the model of this first one, you're just gonna take all of the problems that you have here and replicate them times 2. And you're gonna give yourself twice the headache that you had before while still not being nearly as efficient, as productive, create as much output, have as much profit as you would normally. So your first step would be, how do we nail this model so well where it's gonna be the limits of what we could reach at this location? How do we make it so good, so profitable, staffed perfectly, running well, everything is going so well, the area and location is kind of maximized? Okay, we absolutely have to go to a second location. That's what you wanna do. You wanna nail the model at the first location before you expand. If you don't do this, you're probably just gonna scale the headache and scale the problems with more locations. And then over time, it's gonna become so bloated, so hard to manage, because when you have 2 locations, 3, 10, 20, 100, you have to have management managing those locations. And if each location isn't running well, isn't profitable enough, it's not gonna scale long-term. And that's what I see with a lot of companies. They're thinking, oh cool, let's just bring in more people. Let's just bring in more bodies to do the work to create more output. But they kind of think of the activity and not the productivity. And this also kind of falls into Parkinson's law, where you have an allotment of time that you're always gonna fill. If you give yourself a whole day to clean your room, you're gonna take a whole day to clean your room. If you give yourself an hour, you're gonna take 1 hour. And we kind of think in activity. Everybody's always busy. Everybody's always doing something, working on something. And unless somebody's sitting there and just literally not doing anything, that means we're at capacity. And that's not always true. We need to take a look at the underlying output. What is being done? What is the actual output of the work being done? What is the result of that work? Can we delete anything? Can we remove anything that's not relevant? Can we allot this person to do something else that they may be doing now that's not as relevant? And scaling and building that underlying model, that way of work in the company that allows you to bring in more people and actually make the company and the team more productive, rather than just increasing something that isn't built well and that isn't gonna scale well. And a lot of times when companies do this, myself included, we actually hired 2 years ago, 2 separate salespeople, and we didn't have an underlying clear way of work and execution. We just kind of thought, okay, let's hire a salesperson. They're gonna bring us in more leads, bring us in more work, and everything will be great. And we're on our third salesperson now, and we are paying this person a lot of money. It's $300,000 OTE per year. And we just thought, okay, if we pay the right amount of money, this person will come in, they will build the right systems, they will do the right things, they will execute on the right things, and we will make more money as a company. That has not been true every single time we have done it. And that's because ultimately, now that I look at it, we didn't build the correct underlying model of work and the right system of work for someone to come into this role and execute on it correctly. And that's what we kind of fail to do here, and what a lot of other teams, companies fail to do as well. They just see a problem, they're like, cool, let's hire people, let's grow the team, grow the company, we need more of this, more of that. What about automating some of it? What about removing some of it? What about incorporating AI into some of it? And I like to think in terms of revenue per employee or profit per employee, rather than how many employees you have. And again, the vanity metric of 100 employees, 1,000 employees is really cool. 300 employees is also a cool milestone, but what does it matter when a team of 20 can beat a team of 300? Like a team of 20 doing the same amount of revenue and profit as a team of 300, I would much rather run the company of 20. Much easier to manage, much cleaner, much more profitable, much more enjoyable. And fundamentally, our mission at Grid.io is to make work more enjoyable. Not just for the people doing the work, but for the people running the company as well. How do we make work more enjoyable? How do we create those opportunities for people to truly have an impact and have a lot of output in the company, which is what gives them value, right? Gives them value to actually accomplish something and do something, gives you value because they actually do something relevant and create a lot of output and value for you. So creating that kind of underlying systemized way of work, it helps you to make people more, when you actually bring them in, it solves the correct problems versus not solving the correct problems. It makes onboarding people way faster because you actually have a system of work that is documented, that is clear, that is efficient. They could come in, they know what to do, they know what everything looks like, and they just hit the ground running. And number three, it allows you to scale the model long-term, because you could bring people in that actually have a really good, robust underlying system of work. And the more people you bring in, the more scalable it becomes versus becoming more brittle and more fragile over time. And that is exactly what we do here at Grid.io. Our whole mission is to make work more enjoyable for everyone. And we do that by creating a really clear, really simple underlying way of work for the entire company. So if you feel like you're just hiring people and it's whatever you're doing isn't working out, you're trying to throw bodies at problems, most likely the problem is that you do not have a clear system of work. And that's exactly what we help you build out. So if you feel like you want help with that, I'd love to jump on a call with you where we'll kind of go over where you're at now, what's happening now, and go over exactly what needs to happen next. Click the first link in the description below, and that's going to be a book a call link with me personally. I'd love to talk to you and see what's currently happening and give you some suggestions, just kind of talk through things and see where you're at and where we can help.